Hey guys, we are going to start in a seated position, and for the first moments of practice you may want to be facing the wider edge of the mat. You can sit with your legs crossed as always, or you can sit on your shins like me, and then rest your hands on top of the knees, close your eyes. And just take a moment to collect all parts of you. So physically you are here, but see if you can bring your mind to this moment, the emotional tone. Anything that creates you, just welcome it to this moment on the mat. Creating a few moments of stillness. Making sure that the spine is long, shoulders stacked on top of the hips, so maybe shift them slightly to the back. Create space between the shoulders and the ears. And allow your face to be soft. The jaw, eyelids, forehead. And just breathe. In and out. Noticing if the breath is shallow or if it's deep. Noticing its length. And after your next inhalation, exhale completely, and we are going to meet there at the bottom. And then inhale for 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Out. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Out. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big inhalation. And out through the mouth. And just come back to your natural breath. Inhales and exhales. Of course, you can bring ujjayi into the practice, so maybe constrict the throat, imagining that you are steaming up the mirror, but both inhalations and exhalations are happening through the nose. Or if that doesn't work for you, just the natural flow of your breath. but you stay aware of this flow. You can stay with your eyes closed here, or you may slowly start opening the eyes. And then extend your left arm to the left and start walking your left fingers away from you. And this time place your right hand on top of your left ear and very gently pull your right ear to the right shoulder, getting deeper into the left side of the neck. Maybe walk your right fingers even further away from you. And you're not pulling here, you're simply guiding. What you can do is also lift your right arm and flex your right fingers, pulling them towards your body, pressing the palm away from you. Notice how that feels, how the sensations are changing. And maybe it feels good, stay here. Or maybe you prefer to drop the hand once again. Maybe it felt better for that moment. Just one inhalation here. And then as you exhale, release your right hand and then guide it behind you. Place your left hand on top of your right knee and then look to the back. If you need to block under the right hand, right fingers, without leaning to the back, growing tall from the base of the spine. Keep opening the chest to the right, guiding your right shoulder blade towards the spine, left one away from the spine. One more inhalation here. And then as you exhale, come back through center. And this time walk your other hand, your right hand to the right side. And then the left hand on top of your right ear. Gently guide your left ear to the left shoulder, creating space in the right side of the neck. So once again, gentle movement, gentle guidance. And again, maybe you want to lift your right hand, press the palm away from you, flex the fingers, noticing where you feel the stretch in this variation. Or you may leave the hand on the mat. Just one inhalation here. And then as you exhale, start releasing left hand behind your back. And then right hand on top of your left knee. Inhale, long spine. Find this length first. And then as you exhale, twist your chest to the left. Maybe look to the back, left shoulder blade to the spine. And just hold. Breathe. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, sink into the twist. Maybe deepen it slightly. And then come back through center. Maybe your eyes are still closed here. And then pull your chin to the chest, creating space in the back of the neck. And then circular movement to the right, then head to the back, left ear, left shoulder, and then chin to the chest. And just take a few moments here. Switch direction. One more. And then come back through center. And then interlace your fingers in front of you. You may slowly start opening your eyes if you are not there yet. Switch direction. And then release your hands, make your way on your shins, lifting your hips, and then tuck your toes under. And then just for a moment, sit back on top of your heels. And then start lifting your hips, but you are creating engagement in your glutes, tucking your tailbone under, gently pressing the hip bones forward. And then sit on top of your heels, kind of hinging from your hips as if you are doing the squat. And again, lift, squeeze the glutes, tuck your tailbone under, and lower. Send your glutes on top of the heels, and again, lift, squeeze the glutes, and then send your hips to the back, your glutes to the back. Two more. Lift, squeeze your glutes, engaged. And then exhale, sit on top of the heels. Once again, lift your hips. And this time shift the weight on your right leg. You may extend the top of the right foot on the mat if that feels better. And we are going to take a big step to the front of the mat with your left foot, with the toes pointing to the front of the mat. Hands can stay on the hips. And then start lowering your hips to the left. So the knee is tractioning to the left side, to the front of the mat as well. Keep your chest open. And then extend your left leg. This time lower your left heel, so toes are pointing towards me. And then once again, send your glutes to the back. Sit low, chest probably will come forward. And then inhale, lift your hips, tuck your tailbone under, and then point your toes to the left. Start bending your left knee, and then sink low with your hips. Inhale, lift. Lower the left heel, toes are pointing towards me. Send your hips, your glutes to the back, hinge from the hips. And then tucking your tailbone under, lift your hips, squeeze your glutes. Point your knee, your toes to the left, and then bend your left knee. And let's stay here. You can lower your left elbow on top of the left thigh, or you can place the left hand on the inside of your left foot or on the block. And then extend the right arm above the head. And then start guiding your right fingers to the left, guiding the left knee to the back, opening through the chest. On your next inhalation, come back through center. Lift your hips. And we are going to shift back through center. So shift the weight on your right knee, right shin, and then step your left knee next to the right knee to the other side. Shift the weight on your left knee, and then step your right foot to the right, so the toes are pointing to the back of the mat, and then bend your right knee, sink low. So heavy pelvic bowl, heavy hips, right knee is pointing to the back of the mat, and then lift your hips, and then lower your right heel, so you're spinning the foot in the way that toes are pointing towards me. Send your hips to the back, chest forward, and then squeeze your glutes, tuck your tailbone under as you lift your hips on top of the knee. Point your right foot to the right, bend your right knee, sink low, and then extend the right leg, spin it so it's flat on the mat, toes towards me. Send your hips to the back, squeeze your glutes as you lift, find this engagement, and then point your toes to the back of the mat, bend your right knee, and just stay here. Right elbow on top of the right thigh, or right hand on the block or on the mat in front of the right foot, and then first extend the left arm above the head. And maybe you'll just hang out here, stay here. Maybe you can reach your left fingers to the back of the mat, the palm is pointing down. You are guiding your right knee to the back, especially if you have hand on the block or on the mat. You can use the strength of the upper body to push this right knee to the back. And then on your next inhalation, come back through center, extend the right leg, shift the weight on your left knee, and then step your right knee next to the left knee. And then you can spin so you are facing the front of the mat. And then lower your hands on the mat. We are in the tabletop position. On your next inhalation, open through the chest, look up, arch your lower back. As you exhale, shifting slightly to the back, run through the back body. Tuck your tailbone under. And then again, inhale, open, look up. As you exhale, run the back body. And again, open. Widen through the collarbones. Maybe shift the weight slightly forward. And then exhale, tuck your tailbone under, run the back body, create space in between the shoulder blades. And then make your way back through center. Tuck your toes under. And then start walking your hands to the back. And then from here, lift the knees from the mat. Drop the heels as you start to lifting your hips. You may place the hands on top of your elbows and then stay here. You can bend the knees, maybe more, maybe less, but you can always bend the knees, especially that we didn't warm up the hamstrings yet. And then start rocking side to side if that feels good, or maybe you prefer to bounce up and down without pushing too much, being still gentle here, but finding this bounce. And then come back through center. Release your hands on the mat if they are not there yet. And then start walking your hands to the front of the mat, finding your plank position. Once again, tuck your tailbone under. Create separation in between the shoulder blades. Spread your fingers and scoop your abs. So as if you could connect the lower ribs with the hip bones. Just hold, shoulders on top of your wrists. We are lowering for the count of 10 on our bellies. If you need, drop the knees on the mat. Inhale. Exhale. 10. Elbows to the back. 9. 8. Don't allow them to open. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. You are on your belly. Extend the top of the feet on the mat and then rest your fingertips next to the edges of the mat. Engage the glutes. Once again, press the top of your feet to the mat. And then on your next inhalation, start lifting your chest. You may extend your elbows fully or stay halfway. That's up to you. And then as you exhale, release. On your next inhalation, once again, lift. Open. Shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, release. One last time, inhale, extend, slide the shoulder blades together. Keep engaging the glutes here. Hold. Just look in front of you, long back of the neck. So see if you are lifting the chin so much that the back of the neck shortens, or maybe you can pull the chin just slightly to the chest so the back of the neck is elongated. Inhale. Squeeze the glutes. As you exhale, lower on your belly. Slide your hands next to the rib cage and then tuck your toes under. We are lifting for the count of 5. So elbows to the back, don't allow them to open. Once again, knees can stay on the mat or you can lift the kneecaps. And then lift the hips first. And then 5, 4, keep extending the arms. 3, 2, 1. You are back in your plank. And then lift your hips, first downward facing dog. Adjust if you need. Heels a bit out, toes a bit in, and then wrap your shoulders around so elbow creases are pointing towards each other. And see if you can press in your hands a bit more, finding length in your spine, lifting your hips to the back and up a bit more. And of course, knees can bend here. You can move, of course, as always. Maybe you want to shift the hips from side to side. Maybe you want to bend one knee at a time. This is completely up to you. Maybe you want to shake your head. And just breathe. Maybe ujjayi, maybe the natural breath. One more inhalation here. And on your next exhalation, if you are moving back to stillness. On your next inhalation, look to the front of the mat. We are stepping or hopping into malasana. So up to you. Feet as wide as the edges of the mat on the outsides of your feet, and then lower your hips. Extend your arms in front of you. And then shift your shoulders a bit to the back. Fingers are reaching forward, but shoulders to the back. Slide the shoulder blades together. And lift your heels from the mat. At the same time, use the strength of the glutes of your thighs to press the knees away from each other. And maybe lift your heels even more. Keep shifting the shoulders to the back so you are not hinging forward from the hips. Grow tall from the base of the spine, through the crown of the head as if someone was pulling you up with the string. And then as you exhale, release the heels, release the hands, and start to lifting your hips. Heel toe your feet so they are as wide as your hip bones. Inhale, halfway lift, so maybe adjust the hands. Slide the shoulder blades together, but belly towards your thighs. And then as you exhale, lower. Belly towards your thighs. This time the crown of the head is pointing down. And on your next inhalation, start rolling vertebrae by vertebrae, articulating each part. So lower back, middle back, upper back, and then the neck. Extending the arms above the head. Look at your fingers. Palms are facing each other. Maybe they touch, maybe they won't. As you exhale, lower your hands on the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And then as you exhale, hands drop on the mat. If you are stepping into your plank, you know this transition, just sun salutation. So step to the back into a plank. If you want to work on hopping, bend your knees, hands stay as wide as the shoulders, and keep pulling the elbows to the back. By the time the toes touch to the mat, elbows bend. Try to jump immediately into your chaturanga. Of course, core strong, glutes strong. So chaturanga, if you're in your plank, lower into chaturanga. And then inhale, upward facing dog. Engage the glutes. If this is too much, too fast, of course, modification, back bend of your choice. Pull your shoulders to the back, traction the chest forward, exhale. Downward facing dog. And just hold here. Press the hands to the mat. Lift your hips even more. Inhale. And long exhale. On your next inhalation, look to the front of the mat. Bend your knees. Maybe this time hop. So the feet are as wide as the edges of the mat. And then extend the arms forward. Once again, lift your heels. Find strength in your lower body. Hold. Inhale. Shoulders to the back. Shoulders away from the ears. As you exhale, drop the heels, the hands on the mat, and then heel toe your feet so they are as wide as your hip bones. On your next inhalation, halfway lift. So maybe just come on your fingertips or slide your hands on your shins. Find length. Shift the weight slightly on your toes. Exhale. Release. On your next inhalation, back through standing, arms above the head. Gaze on your fingers. As you exhale, dive your hands to the mat. One more time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands drop on the mat. You can step or you can hop into your chaturanga. Elbows to the back. Strong core. Keep scooping your abs. Inhale. Upward facing dog. Slide the shoulder blades together. Lift the kneecaps. So just the hands and the feet are touching to the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. And if upward dog is difficult, then don't escape it. Stay there a bit longer without lifting your hips into your downward dog immediately. Just one inhalation here. And then a long, slow exhalation. On your next inhalation, look to the front of the mat, bend your knees. One last time, step for now. Step, hop to the front of the mat, feet as wide as the edges of the mat. Extend the arms in front of you. Thumbs up, and then lift your heels. Press the knees away from each other. Notice what's happening in the glutes when you do that. And then pull the shoulders once again to the back. So as if you could press the bone into a shoulder joint socket. Inhale. And then as you exhale, drop the heels, hands on the mat. Once again, heel toe your feet so they are as wide as the hip bones. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, belly towards your thighs. On your next inhalation, make your way into a standing position, arms above the head, tailbone is pointing down. As you exhale, lower the hands on the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, hands on the mat, hop to the back of the mat or step, chaturanga, and then inhale, up dog. Extend the elbows. Stay here for a moment. Shift the chest a bit more forward. Elongate the lower back. And then as you exhale, downward facing dog. On your next inhalation, lift your left foot from the mat. Bend your left knee. And then pull your knee to the chest as you shift the shoulders on top of the wrists. And then extend your left leg up and high once again. One-legged downward facing dog. Bend your left knee. Once again, knee to the chest, shoulders on top of the wrists. And then extend your left leg up and high. One-legged downward facing dog. Bend your left knee. Pull your left knee to the chest. Hold. Just hold. 3, 2, 1. And then drop your left knee, only left knee on the mat. And then spin your left leg in a way that you're opening the chest to the right. Left toes are pointing to the back. And then extend the right arm above the head, setting into your modified supported side plank. And then extend your right arm to the front of the mat. Big stretch for the right side of the body. The right foot is flat on the mat. On your next inhalation, lift your upper body. And then lower your right hand on your right shin. Extend your left leg above the head and then reach your fingers to the right. And then spin your chest open. So almost as if you could open the ribs even more. Open through the rib cage, you know what I mean, hopefully. And then on your next inhalation, back through center. And once again, lower the left hand under the left shoulder. Extend the right arm above the head. You can just stay here or press into the sole of the right foot, left hand, and then lift your left knee. Just let it hover. Maybe start pointing your left knee to the left wrist, rotating externally. And then rotating internally, pointing your knee to the back of the mat. Just an option. And then back through center, lower your left knee under the left hip. Inhale, lift your chest. And then point your right toes to the back of the mat. Once again, bend your right knee. And this time, lower your left hand. Lower your right hand as you point your left to the back. Heel to the back, heel toe your right foot to the right slightly. And then tuck your left toes under. Inhale, extend the right arm above the head as you lift your left knee from the mat. Just breathe here. Gaze on your right fingers. Of course, if you need to leave the left knee on the mat, stay there. On your next inhalation, start to lifting your chest. Right fingers are reaching to the back, left fingers forward. Find your twisted high lunge. Don't allow this right knee to roll out or in. Maybe twist your chest even more to the right. And then as you exhale, lower your left hand on the mat or on the block. Shift the weight on your right foot and then make your way into your reversed moon. Right fingers are reaching up. Right shoulder blades to the spine. Micro bend in your right knee, engage the left glute. And then bend your left knee, lower the right hand on the mat, and then pistol your left leg through, making your way into a seat on the mat. Lower the left heel, flex your left foot, right arm above the head. And then as you exhale, start lowering your belly towards your left thigh. Maybe you will just walk the hands forward. Maybe you can wrap your right arm around your right shin. Extend the left arm to the left and then guide it to the back, maybe finding a bind. And just stay low. Long lower back. Keep pressing the left heel forward. Make sure that this right foot is not too close to your left thigh because you're blocking the way for your torso to go a bit lower. So the outside of the right foot is aligned with the right hip. On your next inhalation, release. And then lower your hands next to the hips. Point your left toes, lift the hips, and then maybe lift the left foot. So engage the top of the thigh, press the thigh bone into a hip socket. And then start lifting the hips. Make your way into a standing position. Somehow make your way there. And then place your hands in front of the chest. Step your left foot to the back. And then immediately spin your hips, your chest to the left, finding your goddess pose. So right knee is pointing to the back of the mat, left knee forward. Hold. And once again, tuck your tailbone under. Shoulders on top of the hips, so it's not hinging forward. You're shifting the shoulders on top of the hips. Hold. And this time, lift your right heel. Start opening to the front of the mat once again. Hover the right knee above the mat. Hold. And then drop your right heel, open your hips to the right once again. And then lower your left knee into a hover. Shoulders stay on top of the hips. Hip bones are pointing to the back of the mat. And then once again, lower the left foot. Make your way through your goddess pose. And then lift your right heel back to the front of the mat. Just hold. And then drop your right knee on the mat. Start bending your left knee so the knee goes past your toes. And then extend the arms above the head. As you exhale without the hands, start guiding your hips on top of the right heel. And again, bend your left knee. Press the hip bones forward, extend the arms above the head. And then as you exhale to the back. One more. Bend. Arms above the head, open through the chest. And this time lift the hips back to center so the right hip is on top of the right knee. And then step your left knee next to the right knee. Extend the top of the feet on the mat. Sit back on your heels. Extend the arms above the head. And then as you exhale, lower your hands in front of you. On your next inhalation, ripple forward. Make your way through your upward facing dog. Engage the glutes, lift the knees. As you exhale, downward facing dog. And just take a moment here. Inhale. And exhale. Stay exactly as you are. I'm going to switch so you can I can still face you. On your next inhalation, lift your right foot from the mat, bend your right knee, and pull your right knee to the chest. And once again, this connection of your lower ribs and the hip bones, scooping your abs. Extend the right leg, one-legged downward facing dog. Bend your right knee. Pull the right knee to the chest. And then exhale, lift. Bend your right knee. Knee to the chest. And then extend your right leg, one-legged downward facing dog. Bend the right knee. Pull the right knee to the chest, shoulders on top of your wrist. Hold. Pull this right knee even closer to the chest. Hold, hold. And then lower just the right knee on the mat. And then point your right toes to the back. Open your chest to the longer edge of the mat as you extend the left arm above the head. Okay, and then start reaching your left fingers to the back, to the front of the mat. Keep pressing the hip bones forward. On your next inhalation, back through center, lower your left hand on your left shin. And then extend the right arm to the back of the mat. Once again, spin your chest open, starting from the lower ribs. On your next inhalation, back through center. And then lower the right hand under the right shoulder or the block. Left fingers are reaching up. Maybe stay here, maybe press into the sole of the left foot and lift your right knee from the mat. And just hold here. Keep guiding the left shoulder to the back, left shoulder blade to the back. And then possibly point your right knee to the right elbow. Hold. Don't allow your chest to drop to the mat too much. And then possibly rotate internally, guiding the right knee to the left knee. Back through center. And then drop your right knee on the mat. On your next inhalation, lift your chest. Point your left toes to the back of the mat. And then start bending your left knee. Lower your left hand on the inside of the left foot as you point your right toes to the front or now back of the mat. Heel toeing your left foot to the left edge of the mat. Tuck your right toes under and then start lifting your right knee as you extend the left arm above the head. Open your chest. Hold for a moment here. And then on your next inhalation, start lifting your chest. Right fingers are reaching forward, left fingers to the back. Sink even lower, bend your left knee even more. You can micro bend your right knee if it's too much for your lower back or even bend it a lot. Inhale. As you exhale, lower the right hand on the block or on the mat. Shift the weight on the left foot as you lift your right foot from the mat. Keep your right leg straight, strong right glute. Press the back of the right thigh up as you spin your chest to the left even more. Maybe gaze on your left fingers. Don't hyperextend your left leg, so be aware of what's happening in the base of the knee joint. And then as you exhale, lower your left hand as you pull your right knee to the chest. And then extend it to the front of the mat, the front of the room, lowering your hips on the mat. And once again, make sure that this left foot is not super close to the right inner thigh. So there's some space in between. Right toes are pointing up, you're pressing the heel forward. Inhale. Extend the left arm above the head, right hand can stay next to the hip. And then as you exhale, start reaching forward. And then again, maybe the right hand joins the left one. Maybe you will start extending the left arm to the left, guiding it on in front of the left shin. The palm is pointing to the back. And then same thing with the right arm, extending it to the right, maybe connecting the hands, the fingers behind your back. Keep pressing the right heel forward, right toes are pointing up. And then belly towards your thigh. This can be quite an intense stretch. Just see where you feel it, how you feel it. See if you can breathe a bit deeper into the sensations. And then on your next inhalation, start lifting your chest. If you have a bind, release the bind. And then hands next to your hips. Shift the weight on your left foot and lift the hips from the mat. Right heel can stay on the mat if you need it. Of course, this is a transition that you can play with and adjust. If you can, lift the right foot from the mat. So the sensation of pressing the femur to the back and then engaging the lower abs. Press into the hands, the fingers, left foot. Start lifting. And then hands in front of the chest. Bend your right knee and then step it to the back as you open your hips into a goddess pose. So right knee is pointing to the front of the mat or the front of the mat that we started with. Sink low and imagine that the knees are sliding away from each other. So the knees are kind of being guided by the toes. They are not rolling in. And then sink even lower with your hips. Just hold. And then from here, lift your left heel And then hover your left knee above the mat. Shift the shoulders on top of your hips. And then drop the left heel, sink low. Lift your right heel, hover the right knee above the mat. And again, open the hips as you drop the right heel, stay low. Lift your left knee and then hover it above the mat. Hold, breathe, and then drop the left knee on the mat. As you extend the arms above the head, press the hip bones forward, bend your right knee, maybe the right knee is past the toes. And then start lifting the hips, extend the right leg, and send your hips on top of the left heel. And again, bend your right knee, sink low with the hips, extend the arms above the head. And then as you exhale to the back, guide your hips to the back, extend the right leg. One more time, bend your right knee, press the hip bones forward, arms above the head. And then as you exhale, guide your hips to the back. This time, bend your right knee and shift the left hip so it's on top of the left knee. Shift the weight on your left shin. And then send your right knee next to the left knee. Extend the top of the feet on the mat and then sit back on your heels. Extend the arms above the head. And then as you exhale, lower your hands on the mat. Immediately lift the hips, ripple forward. Find your upward facing dog. As you exhale, downward facing dog. On your next inhalation, look to the front of the mat. Bend your knees. Hop into your malasana once again as we started. And then from here, extend the arms in front of you. Lift your heels once again. Knees away from you. Lift the arms above the head. And then as you exhale, lower your hands on the mat. As you start lifting your hips, heel toe your feet so they are as wide as your hip bones, and then make your way into a standing, arms above the head. As you exhale, lower your hands on the mat, bend your knees as much as you need to. And we are going to play with a crow pose. You can adjust so the feet are a bit further from the hands. If you don't want to leave the toes in your crow, that's perfectly fine. If you want to rest in a child's pose, that's perfectly fine as well. Okay, so you will lift the heels and bend your knees and then bend your elbows, kind of like in chaturanga. You don't want to allow your elbows to point away from each other. So pull everything to the midline of the mat, even maybe exaggerating a bit. And then rest your knees on top of your triceps. And maybe this is where you're going to stop and see what's happening with the thighs and also the knees. So if the knees are pressing away from you, they are not helping your elbows to stay where they are supposed to stay. So engage your inner thighs. So you are even working with your inner thighs to pull the elbows a bit closer together. Open through your chest, but to run the back body, the upper back, in a way that there's spacing between the shoulder blades. And maybe you're staying here, pressing the hands to the mat, looking at the mat. And if you want, you can lift one foot. Maybe then switch your feet. Maybe lift both of your feet at the same time, pulling the heels to the glutes. And just hold. Inhale. And then as you exhale, start lowering. This time maybe feet to the to the edges of the mat. So you are landing in your malasana. Okay, and then release your hands and start moving your wrists, circling your wrists. Maybe you want to sit on top of the block here to make it a bit more comfortable. Maybe without. And then release your hands. Place your hands on the mat and lift your hips just slightly So you can step your right foot to the back of the mat. Lower the right knee, the top of the right foot. And then lift your left arm above the head. Open your chest to the left. Guide your fingers to the back. You can just stay here. You can bend your right knee and pull your heel to the glute. And just hold. Extend your right leg once again if you have bent it. And then lower your left hand under your left shoulder. Lift your right knee and then start extending both of the legs. Walk your hands to the midline of the mat. So you are landing in the position with your feet parallel to each other. Slightly pigeon toe your feet. And just breathe here. Inhale. Long spine. Maybe extend the elbows. Maybe shift the weight on your toes. And then as you exhale, release your belly to the space in between your thighs. Inhale. Once again, extend the elbows. Bend your right knee and then drop the right knee under your right hip. And then we are going to keep the right foot exactly as it is. And then just extend the right leg. So you are getting some stretch in the right side of the body. The hands stay exactly as they were before. And then drop the right knee. And again, extend the right leg. Drop the right heel. And then bend your right knee. One more. Extend the right leg. Shift the hips to the back. And then drop your right knee on the mat. On your next inhalation, open your chest. So kind of like cat-cow here. Exhale. Once again, inhale. And then exhale. One more. Inhale. And then exhale. Once again, lift your right knee. This time, come back with your right foot to the mat so the feet are aligned. And then guide your belly to the space in between your thighs. And just hold. On your next inhalation, halfway lift. And this time, drop the left knee on the mat. So the left knee is under your hip. And we are going to lift and lower the other leg, so the left knee. Start lifting the left knee, guiding your hips to the back, dropping the left heel, belly to the space in between the thighs, so we are elongating the left side of the body. Keep the hands exactly as they were before. And then lower the left knee. And again, lift and lower. Lift and lower. Cat-cow, inhale. And then exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more time here, inhale. And then exhale. Come back for a neutral spine. Lift the left knee and step your left foot back on the mat. And this time we are going to drop the right knee on the mat. Drop the left knee on the mat. You can walk your knees away from each other. 90-degree angle between your thighs and your calves here. Toes are pointing away from each other, away from the center of the mat. If this is too much, you can guide the heels closer together and sit in this wide-legged child's pose. Otherwise, you're staying here. Don't allow your hips to come too much to the back or too much forward, so the hips stay in line with your knees. And maybe drop on your forearms. And just release here. Breathe. Long inhalation and even longer exhalation. On your next inhalation, make your way back on your hands and then start walking your knees a bit closer together if you walked them so they were a bit wider on the mat. And then step your right foot back, left foot back on the mat. And this time start pointing your right foot to the front of the mat or to the back of the mat. I got lost, but lift your left heel. So the right foot is in front of the mat on the right side, and then bend your right knee, drop your left knee, and then start reaching your right fingers, right arm forward and up, and open your chest to the right. Maybe stay here, maybe bend your left knee and guide the heel to the glute. And just hold. Breathe. Inhale. And exhale. And then release your left leg. Drop your right hand under the right shoulder. Lift the right knee. And then step your right foot to the back of the mat, making your way into your plank position. And just hold. Inhale. As you exhale, bend your elbows. Inhale. Upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Find your downward dog. And before we are going to slow down finally and move towards the end of the practice, one last portion of strength. Start walking your hands to the back and then roll vertebrae by vertebrae, making your way into a standing position. Roll the shoulders to the back. Inhale, long spine. As you exhale, drop the hands on the mat and then walk your hands forward. Drop the knees or without, push up. And then walk your hands to the back. And then start rolling vertebrae by vertebrae. If you're not with my pace, that's okay. Roll your shoulders to the back. Stand tall. As you exhale, dive forward. And then walk your hands to the front of the mat. Find your plank. 2 push-ups, knees on the mat or hovered above the mat. Or just hold if push-ups are too much. And then walk your hands to the back. Roll your spine, making your way into a standing position, shoulder blades together. And then as you exhale, dive forward, walk your hands into a plank position. 3 push-ups or hold your plank. 2, 3, and then walk your hands to the back. Roll your spine, back through standing. Open your chest. As you exhale, bend from the hips, hands drop on the mat. Walk your hands forward. 4 push-ups. 4, 3, 2, don't lower your hips first. 1, extend and walk to the back. One last set, 5 push-ups. But first roll, make your way into a standing position. As you exhale, drop the hands on the mat. Walk your hands forward. If this is too much, just hold or drop the knees on the mat. But don't shift the hips to the back, but forward. Bend, extend. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold your plank. And then bend your elbows, make your way on your belly. Extend the top of the feet on the mat. Extend your right arm to the right. Lower your right cheek to the mat. Bend your left knee. And then start rolling on your right shoulder. Left foot is behind you. Left knee is pointing up. And just hold. If you feel like you want to go deeper, you can bend this right arm and create 90-degree angle. So right elbow stays, or right upper arm stays parallel to the shorter edge of the mat, but right fingers are reaching forward. So just check in with yourself, noticing where you are, what the body needs. Take one more inhalation. As you exhale, roll on your belly. And then to the other side. So you can extend the left arm first. And if you already know that on the other side it wasn't enough, you can bend your left elbow, 90-degree angle. Lower your left cheek and then open your chest to the right. Right foot behind you. Just hold. Breathe. Slow down your breath. Inhale. And then exhale. Make your way on your belly. Then press your hands next to the rib cage. And then lift your hips. Immediately cross your ankles under the glutes. And then make your way into a seated position first. Making sure that there's a lot of space behind you. We are making our way on the back immediately. If you want to add some stretches in a seated position, go ahead. Otherwise, make your way on your back. Pull the knees to the chest. And then extend your right leg, or it doesn't really matter. But extend your right leg on the mat. Extend the left arm to the left. And then guide your left knee across your body with your right hand. If you want to get deeper into the IT band, you can extend the left leg so the toes are reaching to your right hand. Not necessarily the other way around, but this is just the direction to get deeper into the outside of the leg. But you can, of course, keep the left knee bent. You can modify this twist to whatever you need it to be. Just keep the left shoulder blade on the mat and breathe. Inhale. And long exhale. And then bend your left knee. Come back through center. Switch your legs. So extend the left leg on the mat, bend your right knee, extend the right arm. And then start guiding the right knee to the left. Once again, you can stay here with your right knee bent. You can extend both of the arms so you are creating letter T with your upper body, and then extend the right leg. Keep guiding the right shoulder blade down. And then bend your right knee if you have extended your right leg. Roll on the back. And then pull your left knee to the chest. Give yourself a big hug. We don't do that enough. So really give yourself a hug, say thank you to your legs for carrying you daily for this practice as well. Compressing the hip joints, the thighs, maybe rock side to side. And then back through center, extend the legs, and then flex your toes. Reach with your hands to the ankles or the outsides of your feet, and then start bending the knees, pulling them towards the mat. Happy baby. Either stay still or rock side to side. And then release. Slowly start extending your legs and make your way into your Shavasana. You can extend the arms, or you can place one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. Of course, as always, blanket bolster under the knees, or any variation of your Shavasana. And then return to your breath. Inhale. And then exhale, let's meet at the bottom. Inhale, guide the air to your belly. Feel the pressure on your hand if you have your hand on your belly. And then exhale. 2 more. Inhale to your belly. Out. Once again, inhale belly. And then out. This time inhale to your belly, and maybe you'll stay just with belly, or maybe you can guide the air up to your ribs. Feel the ribcage expanding. Exhale, ribs and belly. 2 more. Inhale belly, ribs. Exhale ribs, belly. Inhale belly, ribs. Exhale ribs and belly. Stay with it, or inhale belly. And then feel the expansion of the rib cage and guide the air all the way up to your chest, the collarbones. And then exhale chest, ribs and belly. Inhale belly, ribs, chest. Exhale chest, ribs and belly. Inhale belly, ribs, chest. Exhale chest, ribs and belly. And then let go. Notice your breath as it is, effortless, steady. Maybe deep, maybe shallow. Maybe long, maybe short. Notice if it feels any different than the breath that you started the practice with. If you have a time, please stay here longer, especially if you feel the need. If you feel ready, just start slowly reawakening your body. So it may be the gentle movement of your toes, very gentle movement of your fingers. And if it doesn't feel right to move yet, just pause the recording. You may stretch on the mat, or you may hug the knees to the chest once again, whatever feels good and needed. And then maybe through the fetal position on the side of the body, start making your way into a seat with your eyes closed. Just stay here for a moment. Maybe you want to connect the palms of the hands in front of the chest in gesture of thanking yourself, but also everyone who you're practicing with, even if it's online, everything in your space, the space itself, maybe the animals, maybe the plants, for creating the space for you, this peaceful space for you to practice in. And thank everyone, everything around you. Thank yourself for this practice. And thank you so much for practicing together. Namaste.